Hey everyone.
Hi, everyone.
So
Welcome
nice
to
to be
you.
here with you. Yeah, warm welcome to this live stream on coming home to yourself, kicking off our
Yeah.
challenge here.
Yeah. As we're just going to give folks a moment to tune in, to sign on, make sure they have their technology working well. But in the meantime, if you know anyone who might be interested in this challenge or could use a practice to work with difficult experiences, difficult emotions, but also just to reconnect to themselves and their inner power, this is a great time to share the event with them. Or you could just send them a text, mindfulness.com/live, and they can tune in. They can register, they can watch it at a different time. But if you know anyone who might be interested, in the minutes before we begin, feel free to send them a message.
Mm. Yeah, and I just want to take my hat off to everyone who's here right now. I mean, Corey and I know that there's something to the tune of more than 15,000 people who've signed up for this challenge. And I just really want to take a moment to acknowledge the fact that you're, making a decision to navigate these difficult times with a little bit more ease, a little bit more inner strength, a little more calm, a little more self-awareness. So, I just really want to acknowledge you taking this time to look after your well-being, and tap into those parts of yourself that can help you navigate all of this with a little more grace and ease. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Melly. Um, all right. Well, I think we should dive in.
Let's dive
So
in.
another big welcome to those who just joined in. This is the special launch event for our 7-day challenge, which we've affectionately titled "Coming Home to Yourself." My name's Corey. This is Melly, and during the session, we're going to be specifically guiding you through a 4-part process, a practice that can help you work with difficult emotions, um, and reconnect to a sense of empowerment while you're going through those emotions. Reground yourself. I think so often when difficult things arise, it's easy for us to get hijacked, disconnected, overwhelmed. And so having really practical tools and practices to reground in those moments, even though it's happening in a single moment, really impacts our well-being over time. And we're especially excited about this particular practice. Before we dive in, though, just a few words about this challenge. 7-day challenge starts on Saturday, and we really invite you to view it as a reset, even a reorientation to a new way of living. Um, by going through this together, by learning these tools, these techniques, these practices, we can choose a more empowered and wise way of relating to our life, especially growing the habit of mindfulness in our day-to-day life. And we're going to make the argument that that can be done in as little as 10 minutes a day. We've seen it in our students. We've seen it through the mindfulness.com app, that just that small commitment each day. And I know 10 minutes might seem like a lot at times, but when you think about all the ways we use 10 minutes, if we really prioritize it's not that much, and it can really have a big return on investment for our personal well-being. And especially with everything we've been going through in 2020, I think a lot of us are going into 2021, maybe hoping that things change and we go back to life as it was before, even though there's a lot I think we're also happy to be leaving behind. The big reality I think that we're all coming to terms with is that, and the reality that 2020 has illuminated for us, is that so much of our external world is out of our control. And to pursue well-being solely by trying to arrange all the puzzle pieces of our life so that the picture that we want matches the blueprint in our mind, I mean, it's that can be a never-ending treadmill. And then sometimes we get there, and then the rug gets pulled out from beneath us, and the puzzle pieces get scattered again. And it can take some time to have that recognition. But I think all of us really experienced that firsthand this past year. The power of what we're going to be exploring here and the practice of mindfulness is that while we can't always impact our external world, what we can always be in touch with and always be in relationship to and always have an impact on is our internal world, the part of ourselves specifically that is is deeper and more grounded and lies beneath some of the activity of the world and the ongoing chaos around us that often makes us feel like, whew, I'm just swimming in this and it's tossing me around wherever it wants to take me. That is true, but especially true when we haven't trained our mind and trained ourselves to find a place of stillness within us, a place that we can rest and inhabit and come back to when life really is throwing a lot at us. And for here at mindfulness.com, coming home to yourself, the theme of this course, this challenge, it's a daily practice, and it involves finding daily ways to check in with your body, your emotions, your mind, your mental and emotional well-being, and to reconnect to that groundedness and those innate gifts that you have that allow you to lead your life with more purpose, intentionality, and ease, rather than just to be swept around by the chaos of life. And to help you establish this daily habit, we're going to be sending you a brand new video each day for the 7 day challenge. Be about 3 to 5 minutes in length. And that will come with an accompanying meditation, which you could see as like installing the learning each day. And so, if you're starting a meditation practice or continuing one, this is just a great way to continue or to begin that momentum. And you could think of it as having two friends that genuinely care about you along your side, coaching you, supporting you along the way. Um, so rather than seeing this as something that's going to take a lot of work, try viewing it as 10 minutes a day that you get to explore something new, something that you get to try out, a practice, and an opportunity to explore a new way of grounding yourself and to be in relationship to your life. It's really important that you don't forget to download the free mindfulness.com app, since that is where you'll be getting access to all of these videos and meditations. So if you haven't yet done that, do make sure you do that beforehand. Again, just a reminder that it is totally free. Um, we just want to thank you for being with us. Our commitment to you is to give you the best support and tools for you to come home to yourself as the primary place of groundedness, security, and inner strength. And we're really excited to walk that journey with you and share what we've learned along the way.
Mm. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd just like to let everybody know that we're kicking off the 7 day challenge in this live event. And also, before we get to the end of this live event, you're going to be given this incredible tool, this incredible 4-step process for dealing with difficult emotions. And kind of like these days, you're pretty lucky if you're not dealing with some difficult emotions, because there's a lot of difficult stuff coming up. So the practice that we're going to give you will help you be less reactive, more grounded, more calm. It'll help you live more intentionally, so that at the end of this webinar, you'll walk away feeling really empowered with this tool that you can take with you for life. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. And, as Corey mentioned, I think so many of us have been, really thrown around by all of the upheaval, all of the challenge, all of the stresses, all of the limitation that 2020 gave us. And I think as you just spoke to, Corey, there's this reality. I think so many of us, there were so many jokes going around on social media and, little memes and things about 2020 and like being gone with 2020 and starting afresh. And the reality is that the turn of a calendar year is the turn of a calendar year, and all of the challenges we still have with us, and so the challenges that we're facing as a collective and as individuals are going to continue to test and confront us. And that's where we're at. And some of them are pretty big challenges too. So it feels to me like what's happening here is that we're sort of being pushed to a point of decision. This is the way that I see it. The decision is this: as these challenges continue to buffer us, will we be thrown around continuously? Will we be pushed into reactivity or escapism or consumerism or materialism or anxiety or depression? Will we be kind of beaten down by them? Or will we dig deeper? Because that's really the decision point. When you have so much coming at you, you become overwhelmed, or you dig deeper. And so we find ourselves, individually and collectively at this point of decision. Will we be overwhelmed by all of this, beaten down, kind of lose ourselves in all of this? Or will we dig deeper and draw on the resources like our compassion, our self-awareness, our courage, our purpose, our presence, our wisdom? And so that's the point that I feel like we're at. It's like, as Viktor Frankl once said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, then we're challenged to change ourselves. And in this situation, there's a lot of stuff that's out of our control. So that's the challenge. This is the decision point I think a lot of us are at. And so I just wanted to invite you into a short guided reflection here, because our journey is different for each and every one of us. So I wanted to offer you a space to kind of ponder this decision point, this question in your own life. So if you care to, I'm just going to invite all of us now to close our eyes. And if you want to, you can leave the eyes open if that's more comfortable, and just sort of let your gaze rest on the ground in front of you. But if it's okay for you, closing the eyes and beginning to bring your awareness into your physical body and into the feeling of your breathing. Just gathering awareness into the body, into the breath, and allowing this flowing sensation of your breathing to anchor you in the here and now. And then taking a long, slow, deep breath in. And a steady breath out. And I'm just going to invite you to kind of reflect back over the last year of your life, this very challenging year for most of us. Just beginning to ponder, to recall the moments in the last year where difficult things arose, challenging things arose, and perhaps you didn't deal with them in the way that was probably the most effective. Maybe there were moments, for instance, of reactivity. There might have been times when you just felt like you couldn't cope, and so maybe you turned to old habits that are not so helpful, like maybe drinking or eating stuff, or just addictive behaviors. Maybe you fell in a bit of a slump with other bad habits there. There might have been times when your relationship suffered a little bit. You were a bit reactive, or there was conflict. Maybe you became anxious. burdened by negative thinking. Just taking a moment to ponder. And I know there might be a bit of feelings of tenderness coming up here, or even shame or worry, or just seeing if you can stick with this for a little bit and just being really gentle and kind with yourself, but just exploring this in the name of kind of greater self-awareness. And I'm also going to invite you to reflect on what you might need in the coming year to help you deal with things more effectively, to help you be more empowered. What are the skills or resources you need? So maybe you'd like to be less reactive. Maybe you'd like to find some more inner calm. Or perhaps you'd like to find ways to show up better in your relationship or your relationships. Or you'd like to ease your anxiety. Or maybe overcome negative thinking so you can be more effective. Or maybe you want to live more intentionally so that you can choose more helpful habits rather than unhelpful habits. Just taking a moment here to ponder, what are the skills that you need personally to feel more empowered, to feel more strong in the year ahead? And I'm going to encourage you now, if it feels right for you, to make a commitment to yourself, not to anyone else, a commitment to yourself to move towards empowerment and well-being, to take steps, whatever they may be, towards living a more intentional life, a more fulfilling, purposeful life, to dig deeper rather than being overwhelmed. And so I'm not suggesting right now that you should change everything overnight. I'm not suggesting you do any particular behavior right now, but just to make a quiet, resolved decision to move towards well-being, to move towards inner strength, step by step. And if the mind's coming in the back door and going, I don't know how to do that, that's okay. Just, you can thank the mind for coming in and trying to help out. But just, if it feels right for you, you might even like to say to yourself something mentally like, yes, I choose to move towards empowerment. Or it might even just be, that's it, I'm making this choice. I'm moving in that direction. Just whatever words come to you, just making a quiet commitment to yourself to move towards empowerment, to move towards well-being, to move towards strength. And then when you're ready, just taking a long, slow, deep breath in. Steady breath out. And then when you're ready, just beginning to stretch a little, to move. And then opening the eyes.
Thanks, Melly. And thank you all for grounding with us. Speaking of us, we haven't introduced ourselves yet. So we're just going to give you a quick introduction. My name's Corey Mascara. This is Melly O'Brien. We are your co-hosts, your daily guides here at mindfulness.com, and we'll be walking you through this 7-day challenge starting on Saturday. My background, my entry point into this work is unique. Didn't get into mindfulness for any noble reasons. I was trying to impress my girlfriend in college. I wanted her to think I was cool, and then she broke up with me. But the happy ending was that the pain of that breakup really inspired me to take this more seriously and to find a way to relieve some of the pain, discomfort, the negative thoughts, the negative emotions. And then a year later, I found myself living in a monastery with a shaved head as a monk. And so my journey it was prompted by some discomfort, but also like this type A personality of really wanting to understand this practice deeply. I saw it as offering peace and refuge, and I wanted to see how far I could take it. And then when I came back from my time in Asia, I saw that it's one thing to cultivate peace and contentment in a monastic setting, and it's another thing to do it in the real world. And so a big part of my mission and what we really aim to do here at mindfulness.com is just how do you hold the depth and the potential of these practices, but also integrate them into your life in a way that's practical, relatable, and usable. Otherwise, they just remain nice ideas that are too abstract to integrate. Um, and so these days, my work, I wear a handful of different hats. I teach positive psychology at the University of Pennsylvania. Periodically teach mindfulness on the Dr. Raj show. I've written a book called Stop Missing Your Life, and I have a lot of different training in different mindfulness practices, mindful schools, a search inside yourself curriculum, health coaching through Duke, all in the spirit of exploring how do you really tailor this work to different domains and to different populations of people. Um, and so I'm excited to share in this journey some of some of my heart and what's come up for me in this exploration, because it has been life changing, and really don't know who I would be or what I would be doing if I hadn't come across this work. And so I'm looking forward to being with you. Melly, would love to hear a brief share.
I would also add that Corey is also one of the most high integrity, genuinely compassionate human beings I've ever met in my life, and and that's probably worth more than all the qualifications. I'm I'm Melly, as Corey introduced me, and I'm a speaker, writer, mindfulness teacher, and a co-founder and co-host, obviously, of mindfulness.com. I also was a co-founder and host of the Mindfulness Summit, which is currently the world's largest mindfulness conference, and it's a not-for-profit project that's raised over $750,000 for mindfulness-based charities all over the world. Doing that in the spirit of just my passion is getting this out to as many people as I possibly can, especially in these troubled times. So I've been teaching mindfulness for just over a decade. I've taught thousands of people, both online and in the real world. And the greatest joy in my own life is receiving when we hear feedback from teaching a course or doing something on the app, and we hear people going through these really amazing shifts. Those moments of feedback are truly the most fulfilling moments of my life. And some of the reason that they hold so much value for me is that my journey to mindfulness came because I was suffering deeply. This is actually the classic path to mindfulness. You're hurting and you're like, help. So when I was a teenager, I had depression, I had an eating disorder, and I had a whole world of pain going on. Like, I know suffering. And I also, not only do I know suffering, but I know what it's like to suffer and be convinced that there's no way out, that you're just this kind of person, this is your lot in life, and you feel trapped and stuck. And then I did a mindfulness course when I was 17, went through what I can only describe as a seismic shift in the way that my mind operated and the way that my life, the quality of my life. And I just actually, it lit a fire inside of me. I was like, wow, I have to share this with people, because I never would have believed this is possible. And so that's why, when I hear from people, it's very dear to my heart. When I hear from someone who's been in some situation, anything like what I've been through, and they say that they've also found a new way of being, a new way of living, it's just, it's joy for me. So, yeah.
Thanks, Melly. So it's good to be here with you, and it's always such a joy to teach alongside Melly, um, who snuck in some kind words about me. But one of the things I most appreciate about Melly is the deep well of her heart. Um, it's boundless, like truly, and you can probably feel it in the way she talks and her intentionality and her presence. What you see on the screen is 10 times more behind the screen, or we could just say equal. uh, um, but yeah, thank you, Melly. And thanks for everything you've put in motion with mindfulness in the world. And for leading this with me today. It's such a joy. And we'd love to get into the heart of this. We want to share a practice with you. It's called the RAIN practice. Some of you might be familiar with it, or maybe you've heard about it, or completely new to you. This is a practice that was created by a meditation teacher named Michelle McDonald, but was popularized by Tara Brach. And it's a 4-step sequence that you can utilize when you're experiencing something uncomfortable, when you feel yourself hijacked by an emotion, when you're in an argument with your partner and you step away and it's just like, whoa, something is activated in my system right now. It's an opportunity to come closer to that, but then to alchemize that experience into something more positive, empowering, and grounding. And the one thing like we see a lot of is, for a lot of people, and ourselves included, there's just a complicated relationship to difficult emotions. They don't feel good. They're painful. We don't want more of them. So when they arise, our tendency is to do something like this. And it might not look like this literally, but it's this internal of like, get me away from that. And there's power to being able to redirect our attention, to focus on something else, to compartmentalize when we need to. But I think anyone who's done that as a soul coping strategy knows that this stuff catches up to us. Difficult emotions don't just go away because we didn't pay attention to them. They get put into our backpack of life, and the backpack gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And then one day we're just deeply weighed down, or we feel disconnected from ourselves, or it's just like, I don't know what's going on. Everything in my world seems objectively okay, but on the inside, there's this heaviness, or there's tension, or there's this emptiness. And so having that capacity to work with these experiences as they arise in a way that allows them to integrate and to pass, and for us to let them go rather than just to be stuffed down is not only imperative to our well-being, but it's foundational for exploration of what it means to cultivate a mindfulness practice. So I'm gonna talk through these 4 points, what they represent, what they might look like, and Amelia is gonna walk us through a practice, so that you could actually explore integrating them. So again, it's 4 parts. It's called RAIN. RAIN is an acronym. And it stands for recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. So imagine, right, a difficult emotion coming up for you. You might not need to imagine. Maybe there's something here for you right now. And the tendency might be to turn away from it, to be overwhelmed, not sure how to handle it. The first thing we do, R, just stands for recognizing. And this is connecting back to our inherent awareness that we all have as a birthright, but we just seem to be so disconnected from because we tend to be really caught in our thoughts and our story. So there's something quite powerful to this first step of just reconnecting to this part of us that can know what is happening without being consumed by what is happening. This very simple awareness of, oh, I'm feeling tight right now. There's anxiety here. Can you already start to sense how that's very different than maintaining the momentum of trying to get out of the experience or jumping to the next thing or being caught in your thoughts of like, why is this here? Just this soft recognition. Ooh, I'm sad right now. I feel overwhelmed. Awesome. First step. That brings more of our prefrontal cortex online, the part of our brain that's able to override and hold more primal parts of our brain that feel really intense and overwhelmed. So we just recognize. And that brings us to allow. And these are kind of connected, but the allowing is a holding space for the experience in a curious, non judgmental way. A lot of times we recognize what is here, but then we quickly go into, I hate what is here. Get me out of what is here. Or why is this here? Why am I feeling this way? I've been doing my meditation practice. I went to this personal development conference. I'm reading all the books. Why am I experiencing this? All extra judgment, right? The experience is already here. We acknowledge it as part of um, mm, what it means to be human, really. And since it's already here, can we just make space for it? I like to invite my jaw to soften, my shoulders, my belly. If you listen to my meditations on the mindfulness.com app, you're probably like, yeah, I know, Corey, because I say that in nearly any meditation. But for me, those are the areas that tend to hold tension, like tense the jaw, tense the shoulders, tense the belly. So you could even do it right now, just inviting the jaw to soften. The teeth don't need to be clenched, the shoulders, the abdominal region, and this relaxing of the body, which we can't force. It's just an invitation. You can trying to force the body to relax is another form of agitation. So we just invite the areas of the body to relax that can, and it allows us to soften around what is here, the sadness, the anxiety, allowing, holding space. And then we go into investigate. This is where we kind of get to move a little closer to the experience. And investigate not necessarily to fully understand what this is about and where it came from, but to maybe get a little bit more information. And we can ask, like, okay, what is here right now? What is coming up for me? Yeah, there's some anxiety. And so you could ask yourself, like, where might this be coming from? What has triggered this? I like to to actually have a conversation with the experience as if I'm talking to a friend, and really important to make it as though it's a friend rather than an enemy because this allows for a little bit more curiosity. So it's if it's anxiety, you might just say like, "Hey, what's going on for you right now? What has happened? And what are you trying to tell me?" Right? Because a lot of these emotions have a positive intention. All of them have a positive intention, even if the intention is just to get you away from the experience, because that's what it perceives to be making you more safe. And so we just ask it, what's coming up? And this is also a space to ask, like, do you need something? Well, okay, I honor that you're here. Is there some way I can help you? I can take care of you, or something that we need to shift in this experience. So the investigate, which Melly will walk through in practice, is just your opportunity to gain a little bit more information about this experience that's arising, and often that information helps us understand it within context rather than just seeing it as this strange experience that seemingly has arisen for no reason, which must mean there's something wrong with me. This moves us into N, and this is to nurture the experience. This is my favorite one. This is where we really get to develop more of a friendship with ourselves. Um, the nurturing can take a lot of different shapes, forms, but for many people, and myself included for a long time, we don't actually know how to nurture ourselves. We're much more familiar with judgment toward ourselves or creating more tension or holding ourselves to a high standard and being frustrated when we don't feel what we want to feel or we're not doing what we want to do. So, to help connect to that nurturing quality, it can be useful to think of how would you talk to a good friend going through something difficult? Or if that's difficult, how would you talk to a child who's going through something difficult? What's the kind of space that you would create for them? And if they were crying, you might just sit on a bench with them, put your arm around them, and say, it's okay. I'm here for you. Like, we'll get through this. You'll get through this. Do you need anything right now? That's what the nurturing is pointing to. We've recognized the experience, we've held space for it, we've gotten a little bit more understanding of what's arising. And then we just go into like, It's okay. Like, I'm here for you. I've got you. I've got your back." For some of us, that can feel really resonant. It's like, I'm craving that in my life. I need more of that befriending and nurturing. For others, it can feel a little fluffy. I'm projecting a bit because that was my orientation toward this early on. It's just like, yeah, it feels like woo woo or spacey or I don't know. Um, so I just want to emphasize that this isn't just to like talk to yourself nicely or to say nice things or try to be your own friend. It's like the heart of the work of being human. We have to go through this life alone. We have maybe great friends, great family, great support, but you have to experience your emotions, your sensations, your thoughts, and even transition from this life one day. That's something we have to experience. And if we're creating extra tension, extra forcefulness, extra suffering through our relationship to ourselves, it just becomes a much more intense experience. So you'll have an understanding of what nurturing looks like through your lens. It might not be, "I love you so much." It might be something more akin to like, "Hey, we got this. I'm here for you, buddy. Like you're doing okay. You're doing great. It's okay to take a break. Let's take care of ourselves." But something that feels accessible to you that starts to reorient toward a space of compassion and self-care. So these are our four steps: recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. And now Melly is going to just bring that into practice a little bit and walk us through something to help us really implement and integrate.
Yeah, thanks, Corey. Gosh, you as you spoke just then, I really just realized how much so we're so encouraged to push through and be sort of aggressive to ourselves in a way when we're feeling difficult things, and compassion is actually, treating yourself kindly is just like, that's wisdom, so
Yes.
it's just such a simple, valuable skill. So I'm just going to encourage everybody again to just take a few moments to settle into your seat and closing down the eyes if that's comfortable for you. And I'm just going to walk you through this so that you can feel this 4-step practice in your own body, in your own being. And we'll just begin once again by drawing the focus of attention into your body and into your breathing. And just using this feeling of the breath as a way to really ground yourself in the present moment. So the mind might want to wander all over the place. We just want to bring our focus to the breathing and just feel the flow of the breath just for a few moments. And with each exhale, just seeing if you can get a sense of settling and softening. And I'm just going to invite you to bring to mind something that's happening in your life that's a bit difficult, challenging, stressful, not something completely overwhelming, just something that's challenging you. And just inviting you to begin to notice what kinds of emotions and thoughts and sensations are arising. So we're starting here with the R of rain, this recognition, noticing what's happening for you in your body and mind right now. Just spending a few moments here just acknowledging the presence of the emotions and sensations and thoughts. And now we've practiced the A of rain, which is just this acceptance, this allowing of whatever's here, just letting it be here. So as Corey mentioned, we have this very strong habit to try to get rid of any unpleasant emotions. And the difficulty with that is that we tend to prolong them and make them bigger when we struggle against them, when we try to escape them, when we try to fight them. So instead, the invitation here is to see if you can simply allow what's here to be just as it is. So just making room for it in your experience, so to speak. So not trying to fix the emotion, not trying to change the emotion, simply allowing it to be. Softening to it. And then the I of rain is this investigation. So sometimes it's handy in this investigation step to actually mentally ask yourself some questions. And one question could be, if this emotion had a voice, what would it say? Or you might also like to inquire, what was it that caused this emotion? Why is it here? And you can also ask yourself, what is it that I need? What is this emotion trying to speak to me that I need? So you can really lean into a feeling here of curiosity, and a kind of kindly curiosity, inquiring into this emotion with either the questions that I just suggested, or you might have some of your own. So just taking a few more moments here to investigate. And the final step of rain, the N, is for nurture. So as Corey and I just spoke about, there's sometimes this sense of aggression towards difficult emotions, or we kind of try and push through them or struggle with them. So here there's a different orientation, and the orientation is to bring kindness and compassion to yourself in the midst of this. So you might like to think of tending to your pain or your discomfort like you would tend to a loved one who is hurting. And bring in this attitude of compassion towards yourself. You might even like to imagine that you're breathing into and out from where you feel the emotion the most, with tenderness, with kindness. taking a few moments here to kind of surround the emotion with kindness. And then when you're ready, taking another deep, slow, full breath in, really filling the lungs with air. And a long, steady exhale, and just beginning to wriggle the fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you can open the eyes and just reconnect. And so you now have this rain practice. You now have this really tried, tested, and proven pathway to dealing with difficult emotions much more skillfully. So this practice, I really want to say it's a simple practice, but it's really powerful because it can pull you out of reactivity. It can pull you out of overwhelm. It can help you be more self-aware so that you can live more intentionally, make the choices that are really life-affirming and empowering for you. So we really hope that this tool serves you well. And if you want to practice some more with a little bit more support, this meditation is on the mindfulness.com app. So if you're not confident that you can remember the steps, you can go onto the app, and in those moments of need, you can just kind of put your earphones in and we'll guide you through it. So you can find that on the app. It'll be there for you to support you as well.
Thank you, Melly. Well, everyone, this is bringing us to the conclusion of our live event, which also means the beginning soon of our 7-day challenge. So if you're not already signed up, we would love to have you for these 7 days. Um, and and over the next 7 days, we're just going to be asking you to take 2 actions per day, asking, inviting, and that is watch the daily video and then practice the meditation. Watch the video, practice the meditation. And hopefully it doesn't feel like something you have to do or you're forced to do, because there's it's an opportunity to learn something, to engage in a new tip, a new practice, and to start to shift how you're feeling in real time and throughout the rest of the day. But sometimes still, like, things that are good for us, we can put on the back burner or feel burdened by. And so we're just keeping it really simple. The only commitment: watch the daily video and practice the meditation, and see what happens. See if you could trust the process. At the very least, you'll learn some new tips, and at most, you can really start to reorient to your life and kickstart things in a new, positive, empowered direction going into 2021. Um, Challenges are always more fun when done with friends. And just from a scientific perspective, we're more likely to complete something if we have an accountability buddy, or we're doing it with other people and we're texting each day going, how did that go for you? What did you think of Melly's talk? How'd Corey's meditation go? So bring some people into it. It's a free challenge. We're just trying to get this to as many people as possible. And it starts January 23rd on Saturday. So this upcoming Saturday in your local time zone. Now, really important, just make sure you download the mindfulness.com app and complete the free registration, since this is where all of the videos and the meditations will be delivered. You do not need a paid subscription to participate.
Yeah, there's no strings attached
No,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Things come up, and you might go to dinner right now and forget to do it. So our encouragement is just take a minute to go to the App Store right now, download the app so you at least have it, and you'll get notified when the first session begins, be delivered right to your phone, and you can start there. Again, we're looking at about 10 minutes each day, and you can really get your life going in a positive direction. And we just love to see you there.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. Melly, you want to say anything to close?
I think what I really want to say, just to close, is if you are one of the people who have made that kind of quiet but confident decision to move in the direction of empowerment, move in the direction of strength, move in the direction of more awareness, more wisdom, more kindness. If you're a person that really wants to be a part of creating a more kind and conscious world, we've really created this. We've created this to be your really easy first steps on the path. Really accessible, minimal. We've gone for kind of like a minimal investment of time for the most maximum result that we can possibly do. So we're going to guide you through 7 skills in 7 days that I believe can be really transformative. But my friends, it'll be wonderful if you join us. But I just wanted to say, wherever your journey goes from here, no matter where your life path takes you from here, I just really want to, wish you strength. I really want to wish you ease. I really want to wish you lots of love in the path ahead. And may the adventure of your life be full of meaning and purpose and love.
Mm. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to spend this time with you, and we look forward to seeing you at the challenge. Lots of love.
Lots of love.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.